Hello everyone, welcome back to Programming Geeks. I am Ashish and today we are going to discuss about loops in JavaScript. So in this video we are going to look after why does the loop exist in JavaScript and what are their works. So let's move on to the code and understand it practically. So this is our VS code where we have created a JS file loop.js. Now let's understand why do we use loops and what are loops. So as we know that when we want to print some values, we use console.log, right? Console.log, and what are the value we want to print, we'll print that. Suppose we want to print 1 here, right? Now the value 1 will be printed, right? So in the same way, if I want to print value from 1 to 10, I have to go for continuously writing console.log 2, then print the value 1 2. Then the same way I have to do it currently 10 number of times. Right. So this is the way I need to do, or I have to print the values. So very difficult. It's very difficult to print. So this will be 9 and will be 10. So now if we run this code, we'll get values from 1 to 10. But what about, so we have managed this somehow to write 10 lines. But what if we need to print values like thousands of values, lakhs of values? So this is the reason of we have got loop, which means continuously printing the values no matter how many values you want to print, continuously repetitively iterating the values. So that was the use of loop. Now let's try to print some values, right? Continuously and repetitively printing values. So for that we have three types of loops, which is for loop, while loop, and the last one is uh, do while loop. We have some more, but these are the basics. So let's start with the for loop. When you go for loop, just write for, initialize the value, like I is equal to 0, comma, then give the condition, how many values you want to print, like I should be less than or equal to 10, then give incrementation, I plus plus. So now what's happening here is we are initializing a value for I, that is 0, where I should be less than or equal to 10, and I should be incrementing. That means every time I will be printed, the value must be incremented. So let's print some values now. UNS console.log I. So let's see the output. Yeah. So it's printing all the values from 1 to 10. In the previous way, we were writing 10 lines for console and all, but here we can print the 10 values from within a single line. So if we go for 1000 lines here, if we change, right, and if we run our code, we'll get thousands of line at a time. You can see, just check it out here in the output. So these were all the 1000 values which were printed. You can check here. All 1000 values will yeah, all the 1000 values are printed within 2 lines of code. So this is why loops are very important. And whenever we need to go for higher repetition or repetitive values, we use loops. Now there are three types of loops for, as I already told you, for, while and do while. What is the difference now? why you, if we want to print continuously values, repetitive values, why we have three types. Within one type it can be done with the one time, right? So the difference between three is for and while loop, that when we know the at values, what number of values you need to print. Whereas in while we don't know how many values will be printed. It is based completely on the condition. So this was for loop. Let's go for while loop now. So it has a different syntax. In while loop, we have to first declare a variable. Initialization will be the first step. So let I is equal to 1, right? Then while we'll write our condition here, while I less than 100. Okay. Then we'll go for console.log I. And then incrementation will be given, right? I plus. So if we run this, we'll get again 1000 values. Sorry, we have printed 100, right? So we'll get 99 values here, because 100, when it comes to 100 is less than 100, so the condition becomes false here. So the loop has stopped after 99. So now how does it work? First it takes I value of I is equal to 1, so it will print 1. Then 1 will be printed, right, from output. Now I plus plus, that means 1 will become 2. Then now 2 will we go to the condition, it will check whether 2 is less than 100 or not. If it is less than 100, then it will print 2. Now it will come here, and it will check whether 2 plus plus, that it will become 3. Now it will move to the condition whether 3 is less than 100 or not. If it is less than 100, it will be printed. So like this, the continuous loop will be running when it comes to 100. Now 100 is less than 100, right? So this condition becomes false. So the loops break here. Next, we have our do while loop. Uh, Actually, we don't have much syntax difference between while and do while. Just we need to go for this code must be shifted. Yeah, we have just put a do, and yeah. So this is the one. Here first we'll initialize, then we'll print the values, and then we'll check the conditions. Right. Whereas before we have checked that uh, we were initializing the value, then we'll check the condition. We are checking the condition, and then we'll be printing the values. But in do while, we have first initialization, then we'll print the value first, and then we'll check. So here what happens is, even if your condition is false, the loop will run at least one time. So here we have given I is equal to 1 and console.log I. So here first thing what will happen is I will be printed, then it will check the condition whether it was true or false for the first time, right? Only for the first time. So let's go for the output now. So yeah, it has provided again the output, like 100 values are printed. So now let's check. If we go here for I until I less than 0, that means in the first step itself will make our condition false, right? So what happens here is we'll come to know whether our first step will run without checking the condition or after checking the condition. So if the condition is true, then it will be printed. If the condition is false, then it should not be printed, right? So after running the code, we see here 1, because I is equal to 1 and we are printing I. That means it has not checked the condition, right? When it will first it will print, then it will check the condition. Now here what will happen? I is equal to 1, which is printed. It will check I is equal to 2. Now it will check the condition that whether I is less than 0. That means 2 is less than 0. So that is false. Condition is false. Now loop has a break here. So this is how do while works. Then we have for each loop and higher order function loop. We have much, but these were the basics of loops, which were enough, I think, for the beginners. So this was all about loops, and in the next video we will be trying to go for functions till, and hope you understand the topic, and till then keep practicing. Thank you.